There comes a moment in your life, quiet but undeniable, when the ache in your chest is no longer about missing them, but about realizing you've lost yourself. You thought it was heartbreak, but it wasn't. It was self-abandonment. You let go of your boundaries, your values, your voice, just to keep someone close. And now the silence in your life isn't peaceful. It's empty, not because someone left, but because you left yourself a long time ago. Let's be honest. What you called love was often fear in disguise. Fear of being alone. Fear of not being enough. Fear that without someone to reflect you, you wouldn't know who you are. So you clung to the messages, to the late-night replies, to their voice, their warmth, their attention. Not because it nourished you, but because it kept your anxiety quiet for a moment. But let me ask you, if that person vanished tomorrow, if they walked out without a word, would you still feel whole? Or would you collapse like a house built entirely on someone else's presence? That knot in your stomach, the panic when they take too long to reply, the obsession with their online status. That's not love. That's withdrawal. You have mistaken attachment for affection, dependency for devotion, because no one taught you that love is not meant to be earned. It's meant to be shared. You were conditioned to believe that to be worthy of love, you must shrink, be more agreeable, less emotional, more available, less you. So you learned to vanish, gently, daily, in exchange for the illusion of being chosen. But here's the truth. If you have to disappear to be loved, that's not love. That's survival. Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." But you are not being transformed. You are being erased. You mold yourself to fit them. You edit your words to avoid conflict. You silence your needs to seem easier to love. You betray your truth so someone else can stay. But at what cost? True love doesn't require sacrifice of self. It asks for presence, not performance. It invites you to become more of yourself, not less. So the real question is not whether they loved you. The real question is, did you ever love yourself while you were loving them? From a psychological perspective, attachment is not love. It is a survival reflex, a trauma echo. It is the way a wounded child inside you still reaches out to feel safe, using relationships not for connection, but for protection. You didn't choose this mechanism. It was programmed into you early, back when love was a currency, back when being loved meant you had to perform. Be good, be quiet, be useful, be perfect, be invisible. You were taught, maybe not with words, but with consequences, that love came with price tags. So you adapted. You smiled when you were hurting. You helped when you needed help yourself. You said, "I'm fine," when you were falling apart. And this silent, unspoken contract formed in your nervous system. If I do everything right, maybe I'll be loved. That's not connection. That's emotional negotiation. That's fear dressed up as devotion. Carl Jung called this wounded fragment of our psyche the wounded inner child. It's not just a metaphor. It's a living force in you. It whispers that your worth is conditional, that if someone leaves you, it's your fault, that you are only lovable when you sacrifice your truth. So what happens? You start chasing people who mirror that wound, people who make you feel like you have to earn their attention, people who are distant, inconsistent, unavailable, because that chaos feels familiar. And your nervous system calls it love. But it's not. It's trauma running the show. You may even fall in love, not with the person in front of you, but with their potential. You imagine what they could become. If only they healed. If only they changed. And so you wait. You justify. You dim your needs. You put your life on pause, hoping for a version of love that exists only in your imagination. Here's the brutal truth. You are not in a relationship with them. You're in a relationship with a fantasy. And while you're waiting for that person to evolve into what you deserve, time slips by. Years. Confidence. Self-trust. Gone. The cost of attachment isn't just heartbreak. It's the abandonment of self. But this awareness is where transformation begins. There's another layer even harder to see, idealization. You don't love the person. You love the version of them your mind created. The version that could heal you, complete you, save you. You place them on a pedestal so high, you had to shrink yourself just to keep the illusion alive. And here's the irony. The more you idealize someone, the more you disappear. Because love cannot survive inequality. When you see yourself as less than, the connection stops being love. It becomes emotional servitude. And here's where the cycle deepens. You start craving chaos, jealousy, arguments, silent treatments, tearful reunions. Not because you want them, but because you've equated emotional instability with passion. You've lived so long on adrenaline that calm love now feels boring. And slowly, something terrifying happens. You reject people who love you well. Why? Because deep inside, your emotional system is trained to seek drama, not safety. Carl Jung warned us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That's why you keep ending up in the same relationship with different people, same pain, different face. Because the pattern is not in them, it's in you. So what finally breaks the cycle? Detachment, not coldness, not apathy, not emotional numbness, but a sacred act of self-respect. The kind of detachment that doesn't slam the door with rage. It quietly closes it with dignity. It's not about walking away because you're bitter. It's about choosing yourself before you lose yourself. It's about realizing that clinging to someone who keeps wounding you isn't love. It's self-abandonment. And this is where Carl Jung offers us something radical yet healing. He called it individuation. It's the process of integrating all parts of yourself, especially the ones you've been told were unlovable. The needy part, the angry part, the vulnerable, anxious part. Because if you don't embrace those shadows, they don't disappear. They just leak out. In jealousy, in overgiving, in staying in relationships that drain your soul. Jung's idea was simple but transformative. True love begins only when you stop outsourcing your self-worth. You are not someone's project. You are not someone's oxygen. You are not half of a soul looking for your other half. You are already whole, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. That's what real detachment is. A return to yourself. You stop chasing texts. You stop decoding mixed signals. You stop shrinking to make someone else comfortable. And here's the magic. When you let go, not out of hate, but out of love for yourself, you gain something you never had before: freedom. The freedom to be fully you without editing yourself. The freedom to stop performing. The freedom to walk into relationships with open hands, not clenched fists. Yes, it hurts. Because detachment isn't just letting go of a person. It's letting go of the identity you built around being chosen. It's letting go of the illusion that their love could finally prove that you are enough. And that is devastating, until it becomes liberating. Because on the other side of that grief is clarity. The kind of clarity that says, I would rather be alone in truth than together in illusion. You begin to see your time, your peace, your presence as sacred. You begin to see that walking away is not weakness, it's wisdom. That's when you stop tolerating crumbs. That's when you stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, why have I spent so long trying to earn love from someone who doesn't even value presence? You no longer crave the storm. You crave the quiet. Because in the quiet, you find something you've never felt before. Yourself. And maybe, just maybe, that was what you were looking for all along.